So in your handouts you will have that image there, which is our content for our number and algebra strand in the New South Wales syllabus for the Australian curriculum. What we've just been doing with our coloured counters, I think we used 10 counters. I think you made some pretty patterns. I think when you did this, we described them as I have 4 yellow and I have 6 red. And when we write them in that way, that's actually ratio. That's our end goal. That's our end point. So on your number and algebra substrands, let's mark that up. So our end goal is this substrand in stage 4, ratio. And ratio is about proportional reasoning, or what we call the relationship between things, rather than just number sentences. But we also described that in another way. You could have said that the yellow represented 4 parts out of, and the red represented 6 parts out of 10. So I think you'd agree that the prior learning for ratios, because that's a very elegant way of doing fractions. So fractions in stage 4. What would be the prior learning for fractions in stage 4? Fractions in stage 3. Prior learning for fractions in stage 3 would be fractions in stage 2. Now, depending how you actually arranged your dots, you may have put on your table 5 in the first horizontal row and another 5 in the second horizontal row. In that case, you may have described your dots as 2 groups of makes. I could still do fractions. I could still say 50% of yellow, 50% of red, and I could also still do half a yellow, half a red. So I think you'd agree that prior learning for fractions would actually be multiplication and division. Hands up if you're teaching stage 2. No pressure on you at all. But every mental computation strategy for multiplication and division is actually taught in stage 2. Every strategy. In stage 3, the numbers just get, or they get smaller. Prior learning for stage 2 multiplication and division would be stage 1, because that's where children learn about number of groups. 2. Number in each group, 5. And children may or may not understand that, so if we're not questioning deeply, we're not sure. But stage 3 teachers, you know whether they've got it or not. Because that's where we start looking at number in each group, number of groups, numerator, denominator. So all our strategies for multiplication and division appear here. So what's the prior learning for multiplication and division in stage 1? Addition and subtraction. Because when they're special groups, when those groups are equal, that's what multiplication is. Repeated addition, what's called multiplicative thinking. Hands up stage 1 teachers. No pressure on you, but every strategy, every mental computation strategy for addition and subtraction is taught in stage 1. Every possible strategy. The numbers just get, or they get. So if there's a disconnect here in decimals, it's not because they can't do decimals, maybe they haven't got the strategies from stage 1. Or maybe they haven't got division from stage 2. But we can't actually add and subtract numbers if we don't have one-to-one correspondence from kindergarten whole number. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is, if you like, a learning pathway for a child's first 9 years of schooling. There are big ticket items and everything else just hangs off it. So I think you'd agree that's a really nice way of thinking about how do we give intervention, whether it's tier 1, 2 or 3. To me, it would have to come from one of those syllabus outcomes for New South Wales or for other states from our Australian curriculum content descriptors. Do you like it? Yeah. So what I've given you on your handout, you'll see at the top of your page, I've given you this direct URL. And what I would suggest, not only make it a favourites, actually have that URL situated at the top on your bar, on your toolbar. So when you go into the classroom, what you can actually do is what we've been doing this morning. You can actually go in, you click on that, and that's what opens. And then when you want to start your lesson, straight away you can go in there, stage 2, click on your image, because as you know they enlarge full screen. Grab your tool, whether you're using a smart board. If you're using a Promethean board, what do you have to have activated? Active Inspire. And that's what gives you that e-player that goes over the screen. Here with a ComBox, I'm just using the Chalkbox software. It's just a free download. It takes about a minute and a half. And that gives you the capacity to then draw over your image. So if you've got that situated there, you can start your lesson, and if you start to say to children, what do you see? And you're like, oh, they haven't got the horizontal, they haven't got the vertical, is it rows, is it columns? Very quickly, by coming here from teaching directly from the online syllabus, you can see that you can go straight back, you can hit the back button, it's not Program Builder, and I was there in stage 2, part 1, you can very quickly go back to stage 1, part 2, which can be interpreted as year 2, and you may decide to use this image instead. Because in that way, you've still got the array model, but you've also got the discrete model, which is the groups of model. So if you've got a 1-2 composite or a range of children, that may be the better image that you use in your classroom. Do you like it? All right, you can stop there.